These dancers, well, majority of them, not only did they participate in this creative work, but they actually participated in a cross-training program as well, created by myself. They participated 3 days a week for 45 minutes, split from arms, chest, and back, and legs. And that's just a little bit about it, so I hope you enjoy. They worked really hard, so give them a big hand, and I hope you enjoy. in conjunction with the creative portion starting a year ago as well. So what I tried to focus on was to fill in potential gaps that might be in technique training, and that stemmed from my own personal goals and my own personal views. I do cross training for myself because I started as a rehabilitation. So that's where my passion came from, was rehabilitating from overuse injuries and things of that nature, which most dancers can either know from or experience sadly. So this is basically what we're doing is would be considered rehab, which is a semi-new concept maybe for some. So we are focusing on strengthening our bodies, full body. We didn't focus on just one portion. We wanted full body balance. Some of the exercises were catered towards some movement. For example, you saw them pitching forward in there for here. So that was kind of pulling from a little bit of similar motions that we did in the gym, which we actually did the circ, fun fact. And I'm going to get off my soapbox here. And if you have any questions, also dancers that experience the creative portion as well, they also heard my values as well as too, but really they're the ones that did it. So I feel like they should really deserve that. So if you have any questions, yes, exactly, yes. They were great. Very hard, very hard. So if you have any questions regarding our program or what they experience or just anything, I'm here for it.
It's very interesting to hear the dancer's perspective and reflection. What may be something findings that you discovered through the process is what Megan you can share.
Yeah, so I'm Lily. I was one of the dancers who cross-trained with Megan. And whenever I've been asked about what I'm doing, I always explain that this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be able to have this chance to work with Megan and be able to, so we cross-trained 3 days a week, and then we focused each day on a different part of the body. So I did legs on Monday, I did chest and back on Tuesday, and then I focused on arms on Thursday. And the growth I saw even within the first 2 weeks was remarkable. Like, I was someone who had always wanted to go to the gym, but I was too scared to because I didn't even know where to start. And she really helped me feel comfortable, and I felt like extremely supportive. And that allowed me to be able to grow. I noticed in class, like I would do an inversion, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's similar to like a handstand. And I remember going into it and holding it for so long, and I was like, I have never been able to hold this like I do now, and I've just continued to see improvement. I'm really grateful for that.
Also, a little fun fact, if you want to know about their 1 rep max, I'm sure they'll be excited to tell you how much they improved. 1 rep max is a strength training tool that is used and that I use as well. As dancers, we find that we have to move accurately and we have to do it the right way, and that's it. We don't have something that is using all of your effort for one thing and be done. That's not something that we typically, that I experience, maybe other people have, but from my experience, that's not something that we'll do. Using all of that force, all of that strength in our body to execute a movement for once and be done. They have increased their 1 rep max drastically from their first week. They had a 1 rep max in our first couple weeks, and they're like, oh my gosh, what the? And then by the last one, I was like, okay, we're doing it for their last 2 weeks, week 10, week 11. They did their 1 rep max then, and they were like, I thought y'all were shocked, but So, just a little fun of it. Thank you, Natalia. Yeah!
Great job, everyone. I noticed much balance, strength, athleticism, precision, and it was very unique to see these typical like gym moves made into dance, and just really incredible. Okay, my question is, dancers, did you feel like it helped, that doing this training program, obviously it helped you physically, but do you feel like it helped you mentally? And do you think you'll continue doing the gym?
Yeah. I feel like I built a lot of discipline from doing the cross training because I would never be the type of person before that would get up at 8 a.m. and go to the gym. So I'm hoping that I'll keep doing it, but I think having like people for accountability was really helpful. And yeah, I built discipline.
Yeah, y'all did get up early. They really were up early. Yeah.
Megan, here's a question for you. Was it the exercises in the gym that inspired your movement? Or was it the movement and then you said, okay, I should do these exercises so they can execute this?
That's a
Or
fabulous
your process?
Creatively, through the creative work, I was inspired by my research. And by that, I mean finding balance with working in an outward rotation and parallel. So you can see they're kind of in an external rotation or toes facing forward. Making sure that there was balance between lifts, floor work, running, slower movement. So that kind of inspired the choreographic work. I did know from the get-go that there was going to be 2 movement ideas that I know that we would execute in the gym that I would want to make sure I bring in. Single leg RDLs was one of them. Hello, balance. So that was definitely a couple, but definitely the research inspired the movement. And then I have a little bit in between connecting, inspiring weight training and the movement. But then also knowing that they're building this overall wellness of the body, that I felt more confident throwing out movement that maybe I probably wouldn't throw out. Demanding wise. Cool. Yeah.
So you talk about this concept of prehab. I'm curious specifically for the dancers, if like through your classes and rehearsals, etc., if there were any moves or moments that maybe you've been hesitant to try before, things maybe that have injured you in the past that you noticed have not become as much of a concern for you.
That's a great question. That is very good. Thank you.
I would say inversions.
It's a big one because you're going into your shoulder girdle. Like way back when I was younger, at some point I remember like running in my backyard and then I twisted my ankle. So ever since, like it wasn't anything major, but ever since then, like kind of twinges on and off. And we did weighted calf raises. And I remember being very, like, a little hesitant, but I've definitely, like, mentally and physically felt more secure because I did those. And that was, like, part of our regimen.
That's probably one of my favorite exercises was that one.
Yeah.
We did, double the single leg eccentric calf raises, focusing on the lowering because we're getting into the floor. Or you're landing from the jump, and you have this like instant like instead of like we noticed that, let me say that, I noticed that, that there's just like a subtle movement where the ankle makes a slow little jolt. It's very like minimal, very minimal. But that is where it's a little bit weaker at because weaker at. I could go off. I can tell about it. Yeah.
So, dancers, based on your experience from this whole thing, would you recommend anyone that would be interested in doing what you all did to do so?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Why? We want to hear from Georgia or Cameron.
Well, our fabulous dancers, Georgia and Cameron, they were part of our creative portion. Yeah, we talked about it, but yeah, Lily, Sophie, and Stephanie were. Yeah.
So we have a bit of a different point of view. So for me, I would love to do cross training, but like I know myself, and I know that if I do too much, it's just overwhelming. I wish I did, but I can definitely say that not doing it, I did feel a little bit nervous. So I kind of took support from them who did do it, knowing that they knew what they were doing. So just really like putting my trust in them and having them help guide me. I don't know if that really like answers your question at all, but just like a different perspective.
I mean, yeah, I'm biased, but yeah, totally, anyone can do it, for sure, for sure. Like, you start out at a point, you're not just gonna start to bust out with 45s on the side trying to do a back squat. Like, it ain't happening, kid, it ain't happening. But it's called progression for a reason, yeah? Yeah, progressive overload, you know, that's what we use. So, they started off, you know, with a few pounds, and we just rolled like that. We progress where your body's at. I don't push you or make you do what you should have done. We hope because that's not fun and that's not healthy and that totally negates the purpose of it. We don't want that. Period. Progressive
I found the actual movement, like the shapes that you were creating, like really interesting, and like I really appreciated the way that you used the space. And I was just wondering, like, if you could describe like the more creative part of the process and like how you created the movement and where it came from.
Totally. Yes. So I think it's interesting that you noted space because that's my favorite.
That's good.
My favorite is use the space. I want to use every inch of the floor as I can. That's something that I've always been drawn to. Regarding, let's see, more of the creative portion, I start with like me jamming by myself, whatever that is. And after I jam with myself, or I have these visions in my head when I'm driving, because ask them, I have strange ideas in strange places. I say, hey, I have this idea in my head, can you see if it works? And luckily, you know, I have such smart dancers that, you know, willing to try it. You saw a few lifts that were my crazy ideas. I said, can you try it for me? So it all kind of comes from, it's so weird, it comes from my crazy ideas in my head first, and then that kind of triggers what I'm also interested in. I love the athleticism within dance. I love like taking up and just eating up the space. That's something that I enjoy, but I also love the balance and subtle quality. So finding those two and kind of how they mix are definitely where I try and start my crazy thoughts from, would be that. Hope I answered that question. I tend to talk in circles sometimes.